I cannot even begin to tell you how excited I am for this month's garden tour. Because if you watched last month, you know we had a bit of a soil issue. Nothing was really growing, everything was turning yellow, and that is clearly no longer the case. So I'm very excited to show you how everything is growing, what's blooming, what we are almost harvesting. We are so close. So if you're curious what you could be growing in a zone 4B, 5A, then just keep watching. But before I show you everything going on in the raised beds, I wanted to stop by our container garden for a moment because this is where we started the tour last time. And again, things look so much better. The peppers are all green. We're starting to get some little flowers. My forget-me-nots are finally blooming. Same thing with the cosmos. Have some calendula. The zinnias are still a little bit behind, but these tomatoes have completely taken off. Same thing with this random potato I threw in the ground. I have never grown potatoes before, but one sprouted on the counter, so I put it in there to see what happened, and it's happening. And we are so close to these teddy bear sunflowers opening up. So yeah, container garden is doing great, even though this area is shaded. It's between our garage and our deck, so it literally just gets like 6 hours of sun a day, but it's working. Also, I'm not sure if I mentioned this already, but after we did our soil test last month and realized we had 0 nitrogen, we did do some fertilizing with this slow release organic, they're kind of like pellets, and also a liquid fertilizer, which after we put this on the plants, within like a week, they all exploded. So these two are going to be my besties until I can get some cover crops on this in the fall and hopefully fix all of the nitrogen issues in our soil. Really quickly, as we're walking over to our raised beds over there, I wanted to tell you how many strawberries we got from this patch. Oh, got a little chipmunk. So what I was saying is the year before we only got like 500, and I say only, that's actually quite a bit, but this year we had over 1,000, even though these plants are suffering with quite a bit of leaf spot. As you can see, there's a lot of redness, and it is not berries, it's the leaves dying off. So I'm trying to figure out what to do with this area. But I also wanted to point out this hydrangea. She is just taken off, and I am obsessed. Like, she is taller than me almost, and absolutely stunning. Another quick little detour while we are over here. The herb garden is looking fabulous. I have to admit though, we got this as a starter, the thyme as a starter, the rosemary, but the sage and all that basil was started from seed, and they are looking so cute and whimsical with all the little decor that I got from Dollar Tree. And then behind them we have some Jacoby little pumpkins, which are the tiniest, cutest little gourds, and hopefully they will grow up this trellis and look beautiful by the time fall comes. Also, speaking of pumpkins, we started growing what they call a Big Macs, and they can produce 100-pound pumpkins, and he's taken off. And this is the little trellis we have for him, so I have a feeling this isn't going to be enough and we're going to be in trouble soon, but good job, buddy, you were doing fabulously. Okay, enough detours. We're finally getting over to what I call the kitchen garden. As you can see, these mammoth sunflowers are just stealing the show over here. They bloomed yesterday. Like, they knew that I was going to do a garden tour today and have been visualizing this for months. So I'm very, very happy about those, and very, very happy about how great this arch is coming along. We are finally getting some snap peas coming in, a few cherry tomatoes in there. We actually have 2. This is totally overcrowded, and that'll be a bridge we cross when we get to it. And then over here, we have some little cucumbers coming in, or I guess some not so little cucumbers. He is pretty big. And on the other side of this trellis, we have the same exact thing going. So I won't go too far into details since it's the same stuff, but I did want to show you over here these purple green beans, because I mentioned them last time and somebody commented like, how can it be a purple green bean? So this is what they look like. They're purple on the outside. I'll try to pick one real quick. So they are purple on the outside, but when you break into them, I can snap this with one hand, there we go. They're green. How fun is that? They taste just like a green bean, but they're purple and they have the cutest little flowers. So I'm really excited about these. This is the first time I ever grew them and they're doing fairly well, again, considering all the soil issues we had. Also, you can see here we are having a bit of damage from some little green caterpillars destroying our radishes, but they are still doing pretty good. You can see we have some bulbs forming. Is that what you call a radish? I don't know. But last year we completely failed at radishes, so I'm very proud of these right here. And then we have our little snacking peppers, which I think struggled the most, honestly, with the soil issues. They really did not grow at all, so we'll see what happens with those. All right, to the back garden, but first I wanted to take you through the middle garden, is what we call it. As you can tell, we have very original names here. So last month's irises and poppies are mostly gone, and we are full into yarrow season. Also have some lilies going, and so many cute little wildflowers. Again, this garden isn't one that we really plant stuff in. This stuff just comes back every single year. And I am so grateful for whichever previous owner of our house did this, because it is magical and a little bit wild. All right, this is the last detour, I promise, and then we will check out those beds back there. But I had to give a shout out to these wild black raspberries. They grow completely on their own and are just insane. We've had so many. I've already made some jam from them and they're absolutely delicious. Now I have a little snack for the rest of the tour. There's nothing like a fresh picked berry. They are like one of the best things in the world. Especially when you don't even plant them. You don't even care for them. They just show up. And we have finally made it all the way to our back garden. And as you can see, things are taking off here as well. So we have some zucchini, which huge. I will put up a picture of what it looked like last month. It was not this big, and we currently have them in tomato cages because we're trying to keep them up so that way the summer squash, the yellow squash, can take over the bottom of the bed. And also I'm hoping it'll shade out my romaine lettuce so that way it will not bolt. And then down in front I have my onions going, which I'm really not sure what's going to happen. As you can see, I've had some squirrels digging them up, which I'm sure they don't appreciate. So we'll see if anything happens with that. And on the trellis, we have a whole bunch of things doing really well. Like this cantaloupe is almost my height. But starting in the front, we have some cucumbers here because the loofahs I planted on that side did not take off. This side is still attempting, and I don't think I'll have enough time to actually grow and harvest loofahs, but I'm gonna let it keep doing its thing and see what happens. So behind the cucumbers and loofahs, we then have our cantaloupe, which we took these from like seeds inside of a cantaloupe, and I was not expecting anything. So the fact that he is this tall is something else. This bed isn't quite as lengthy yet, but we're getting there. We're gonna give him some more fertilizer and see what happens. And then behind the cantaloupe, we have watermelon, a little baby Bella variety. I'm really excited for those. And some butternut and honey nut squash. And again, you can see quite the difference between this side and this side, which the interesting thing is the crappy soil that we bought, this entire bed is filled with it. And because we knew this entire bed was filled with it, we really fertilized it well. Where this bed we had for a few years and didn't have the crappy soil in it, so we didn't fertilize it as much. And as you can see, it's not taking off as much. So I have some work to do back here, but let me show you what's on the other side of the trellis. So I've been calling this bed my preserving bed because I planted a bunch of things I am hoping I'll be able to can or dry, like these Roma tomatoes. I'm really hoping to get some pizza sauce and tomato sauce out of them. And these little paprikas, which we finally have our first little baby pepper, I'm hoping to dry and make powder out of that. So send me good vibes. I've never really canned before. I've had a little bit experience with making jam, but this is a whole new ballpark. And on to our very last bed, which I call the shade bed because it is full of brassicas that don't really like warm weather. And as you see, it's completely netted because cabbage moths, chipmunks, rabbits would just attack this bed. And I'm sad to say that even with all of this netting, I'm still dealing with some pests like slugs. It has been a challenge. As you can see, our kale, but especially that cabbage back there, has just been getting destroyed by slugs. And I have done some beer traps in here. That's actually what that hole over there is that you're seeing. I've done some beer traps, they've helped, but it's been a losing battle, honestly, sadly. If you know any organic options for getting rid of slugs, I'd love to hear them. Like I said, I've done beer traps, which you can see the holes there. I currently don't have them out because I'm out of beer because my wife and I don't really drink. But if you know anything to do other than beer traps and hand picking, let me know, because things are getting munched on, and they're not getting munched on by me, which is the sad part. And with that, I think we are done with this month's garden tour. Okay, I know in that last clip I was saying goodbye and closing up the video, but we were really close to being able to pick some of these vegetables, and I didn't want to leave y'all hanging. So I waited a couple days before publishing this so that way we could do our first harvest together. So grab your baskets and let's go. We have our harvest from our kitchen garden. Got some purple green beans, some sugar snap peas, radishes, a little bit of lettuce, and a nice cucumber. So let's go to the back now and see what is waiting for us, because I'm pretty sure there's a zucchini that is very much ready. And from our back beds, we got that beautiful zucchini, some Swiss chard, and a couple hydrangeas. And I'm pretty freaking happy about this harvest right here, because like I said, things were looking pretty bad with the soil issue and everything else, and I really didn't think we were going to get anything this year. So I'm very happy to have a full basket, and I think with that, we are done with the video. So I hope you enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed making it. And I would love to hear in the comments, what are you growing right now? What are you harvesting from your garden? Tell me all the things down below. And I will see you next month for another garden tour.